Hello, and welcome to another episode of Amanda Makes a Mess. I'm Amanda, and today I'll be making another mess. Sometimes those messes turn into art, sometimes they turn into garbage. So let's get started and see what happens this week. I'm going to be painting two paintings. I've already done the sketches. I'm going to do this one. This one will be mostly pink because I have new paint and I want to see how well I can mix colors to get different tones. And there's this one that I will hopefully be able to use a lot of colors in. I bought this gouache today. I got the cheapest set. Wow, that ring light's really reflecting in there. I got the cheapest set I could find because I thought I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on it without knowing if I liked it because I've never used gouache before. I do have that jelly gouache that was so popular a while back, but I didn't like it, and I think it's partly because I didn't know what I was doing with it, but I painted the cover of an ELO sketchbook with it, and the paint all flaked off. I think it may have been partly because I put it on too thick, and partly because the texture of the cover of ELO sketchbooks is a little weird. I think the paint just didn't want to stick to it. So this is my first time painting with gouache in my sketchbook. I don't know how that's going to go, but I guess we'll see. I got this palette here that I'm going to mix the colors in. It says it keeps keeps paint moist for later use. So hopefully it doesn't dry up. My jelly gouache did dry up. I had that out yesterday to see if it still worked. It did dry up, but it still works, kind of. But I wanted to try actual gouache to see if I liked it or not. So I'm going to go mix the colors that I'm going to need to do these two paintings. And then I will be back and you will get to see me paint these two paintings. And at the end of the video, I will tell you a little bit about my first impression of using gouache for the first time. Alright, so here's my paint. I have this green, red, the two pinks, and the yellow for the strawberry milk painting. And I have this really dark red that I'm not sure about. But I think once I add highlights, they'll be okay. The two browns, this off-white, and the blue for the painting of the ice cream. Then for the sprinkles on the ice cream, I'll use the blue, yellow, at least one of these pinks or reds, and the green. So I'm going to get to painting now. Like at the end of the video, I will let you know what I think about gouache. So far, I think I really like it. I like the texture of it, but I don't know if I'm going to like it to paint with. So this is the same painting about a week later. I did go back over the whole thing with fine liner to outline some of the edges and define it a little better after I had finished painting it and everything had dried. Normally I do the line art before I do the coloring, but I don't quite trust any of my fine liners not to bleed at least a little bit, no matter if I'm using like a water-based media like the gouache that I was using for this, or if I'm using alcohol markers. Something always seems to bleed. And I actually really liked this painting. I didn't want to ruin it. The paint was actually better than I thought. I mean, I only paid $10 for 24 colors of gouache. I think it was 24 tubes of gouache. I think there was actually 2 whites, but I'm not sure. I really like the texture of the paint right off. Like, it was really, really thick and creamy. Like, sort of like acrylic paint. I wasn't sure at first if I was going to like it to paint with, but yeah, I really liked it. It covered so well. And actually, I like the texture of it on the paper too. There's one spot here. I might have got too much water, but that's okay. I feel like it would have done better on watercolor paper. I don't know what this sketchbook is. This is just the cheap sketchbook I got off the clearance shelf at Michael's for like $2, I think. So the paper is not great. So I think at some point I want to try gouache on watercolor paper and see how that goes. I did, I think, get this part too dark. I wanted it to look like strawberry milk, but it came out looking more like strawberry juice because of the color of this. But I think it should have been more of this color. But this is my first ever gouache painting, so I'm not really, like, I'm okay with this. What do I think about gouache? I think it's a fun word to say. It's very like watercolor and acrylic both. I mean, it has all the properties of both watercolor and acrylic that I like, but it doesn't have anything that I dislike about either medium. The thing I like most about acrylic is that it's not transparent. I mean, it can be if you add a lot of water to it, but it's really thick and it covers pretty much whatever you want it to cover. It covers it. Like if it's paper or you make a mistake and you have to paint over it, it's going to cover that. Whereas watercolor is more transparent, it doesn't do that. So this was more like acrylic in that it was really good at covering all those stray pencil lines that I kind of didn't get erased. It was like watercolor in that it was very easy to mix it with water. Yeah. I really liked it. I will definitely be using it again. I think as I use up these little tubes, I'll probably replace them with something like a step up from what I'm using now, because this is just Michael's store brand. And I don't think they sell the tubes of this brand individually, but I'm not sure. I don't want to just go buy another set of 24 to replace this if I use up like one tube of it. Because I know I'm going to go through the red one and the white one fast, because I use pastel colors a lot, so that takes a lot of white. And the color I use the most is probably pink. So the pink and white are going to go fast. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about this one. I did actually intend to do 2 paintings, and I did say in the first of the video that I was going to do 2 paintings. I did the 2 paintings. I did paint the ice cream, but most of my footage was unusable because my camera shifted on my tripod at some point during filming, and I only got like a section of the page, so you couldn't really see what I was doing for most of that. But this is how that turned out. I'm really happy with this one. I think this actually looks like a glass dish. If I could do anything differently, I would paint this a lighter color, a lighter blue. And this lighting here, the reflections or highlights, whatever they are, that doesn't make much sense, but I'd redo that. I'd make it more of this color down here. But I'm not unhappy with it. These are my first two gouache paintings, and I really like them. The sprinkles are not gouache. Those are actually Michael's brand paint pens that I ended up liking almost as much as I like Posca pens. There's not really much difference. Yeah. This is my second one that you didn't get to see me paint, but it did happen. So that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, because it's going to need all the help it can get. It's still not getting very many views, so goodbye until next week.